Hey, Luis.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
The
And
man, the myth, the legend.
what did you eat?
McDonald's. My roommate asked, and both eat from McDonald's.
Oh, it's nice.
Easy and fast.
Easy and fast. Yeah, that's why it's called
That's fair.
fast food, right? Yeah. I mean, there will be more people probably join, but it was definitely not the smartest day because of the new set. Just
What?
before we start, did you actually watch any cards yet?
Well, yes, I'm on a draft on Arena, so I know some cards right now.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna draft tonight as well, right? In the same tournament.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I will.
Okay.
That's why I draft right now.
Any tips before we start this? What color should I pick?
Well, I trust in the new people working on the sets because in the last few sets all the cards and combinations were playables. So I tried to pick the best card in the pack and try to build around. And it's pretty nice because all the strategies nowadays it works. It's not like in the past where some combinations were busted and, for example, one color was super deep and the other colors were shit. That doesn't happen anymore, so it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Just pick good cards and follow the open colors.
Yeah. I hope I'm not on the same table as you. That's just like every time on a table with really good players. I think I've been 4 out of 4 times with Ben Stark on the same limited table, and it's just not fun. It's just, but yeah. So thanks for joining. I mean, everyone knows you here, and I talk a lot about you because you know, right? I love the way you play, and I told you before. But before we start this, I'm gonna record this, so people who are here and cannot make it completely, definitely you can watch the recording. And if you have questions and can't talk because you're at work, because it's a classic, just write them in the channel, and then I will just read it. Besides that, yeah, I mean, hello, Luis. And it's so, what's the coolest part about this Patreon and international thing? We have people from South America, from Europe, from NA, and from South Africa here. So we are 4 continental here. We just need one more and or 2, but
That's pretty nice.
yeah, we definitely widespread today. So yeah, let's start. I mean, first of all, again, thanks for having you here, and I would like to know, where did Magic start for you? How did you came to Magic?
Well, it starts like 20 years ago. Well, 21 years ago now. My brother bought 2 portal packs, like starter pack, and we learned the game. And
So
a
figure it
few
out.
years after, I I met some people, like played some tournaments, and I started to play like pro releases, and after that PPQs. And in 28, I played my first Grand Prix. Um, it was I end up in top 32, and it was pretty nice. And after that, I tried to qualify to the nationals, and then that's some story from the beginning.
Yeah, and I mean the rest, your rivals, and you had a weekend now, and it must be hard. Like so many games to play, right? And over a long time, and so what is easier to play many games from home right now, or like you did before on a Grand Prix? What exhausts you more?
Well, to be honest, I prefer to play in real life, but since nowadays I'm not traveling and playing from home is so comfortable, I have like mixed feelings. I miss like travel and play, but it's so good because since I live in Argentina, I need to travel like so many times to
Mm,
far places, and it's too expensive,
yeah.
and so it's good from that side. But I prefer to play like with real cars with people.
Yes, definitely a different feeling. I never played the Grand Prix, but I want to play. I mean, I played in Japan a lot, but I really would love to just go to a big event, but we don't know when it happens, right? Like the huge ones again. But what is your opinion when this will settle down? Do you think there will be both coexisting, or how do we shift it? Because Magic, is okay. We can do this online. Maybe this is the way to go.
I think both will be like there's no point of not making more tournaments because the tournaments are good for everyone,
Yeah.
like for the people and the organizer. They make money, so I can see both happenings at the same time.
Yeah, that's also why I did the F2K tournament. I think it's just great to have more tournaments, and I mean, you won one, right? you you won one of them, and with mono white, and that was just I really loved watching you play the mono white deck there, and
That was great.
yeah, that
It
was
was it was really nice because that weekend I felt like Facing Haven was like broken. I say this land is completely broken, and I say okay, I will play either mono red or mono white, and I choose mono white because it has a false Faceless Haven and good cards, and well, it ended up winning the whole tournament.
I mean, you
Pretty
just
nicely.
went through. You just literally top 8 and win, 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 and
Yes,
then
I didn't lose in
it's like
the
that was impressive. And yeah, I mean, also funny that your friend Matti, he was on Face of Havens as well, right? And Mono Red. Did you talk with him
Yes,
at that day before, or just coincidence?
yes. No. We talked the day before, and he felt safer with Mono Red, um, and in the end, well, he did pretty well.
Yeah, I
It
mean, he
was
did also. Yeah,
both tier one decks in that standard that
yeah,
it was pretty near, and we were really close to the final tier one list, so it was a
yeah,
big hit.
yeah. Yeah, and also it's interesting. It was when like Kaltem was new, right? And a new set comes out maybe like 1 or 2 weeks in, and no one really knows what the meta is. What do you think when a tournament happens this close to a new set? How much more important is it to choose the right deck? I mean, after like 2 months, you can just pick a deck because you have so much data, but in the beginning, right, it's choose the right deck, and it's really important.
Yeah, I think smart people take a lot of advantage about that. For example, we have a friend here in Argentina who plays a lot of Magic Online
Hmm.
called Gracias por tanto. His nickname is Mauro Sasso, and he always did do well in the challenge in standard because he always read the metagame in specific challenges,
Hmm.
and he changed the decks all the times, and he always hit like good matchups all the tournament. So I think it's pretty good to have that read of the metagame. And in the beginning of the set, it's even more.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. So let's go to your preparation for a tournament. Um, since I've been in one team so far, and I felt everyone has like a different role there. People are just grinding all day and testing deck. Like Javier, he's just I don't know, he's like online 20 hours a day or something, and then other people's they just lean back a bit more and tune the deck. When you're in a testing team, which part usually is like what do you do?
Well, I'm like the pilot, like the sparring. I always pick decks and play a ton of games against everyone. Like it can be like a tier one deck, like the deck to beat, and people try to beat me with other shit, or some brew, and I try to beat like everyone else.
Mm.
But that's my strength, like the technical play.
Yeah.
I'm good, I'm fast, and I don't get tired of play. So
Mm.
I always well from since 2 months ago I'm testing again with Talai, and like he's kind of the leader, and I ask him for like tasks like
Mm.
the to-do list. So I need to play this matchup, or try this deck, or try these specific slots.
Mm.
So that's
I mean, that's the funniest part, I think,
my
as
role.
well. Like, right? It's just fun, right?
Yeah, it's fun, but I try to improve in the other aspects of my game, but it's so hard because I'm pretty bad at deck building or even sideboarding. So I'm trying to learn, but in the process, I'm the the task that I'm more helpful for the team is the one that I mentioned to you, like
Mm. Okay.
playing and playing.
before I go to the next question, Bakers, I'm not sure if you can hear me. Can you mute yourself a bit because there's backlash right now? I did mute you in my Discord because of that reason, but if you can do it.
Yeah, I put his.
You too, yeah,
volume
me too.
to zero, like.
Yeah, I just.
Hey, cool. I wasn't the only one.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's just. I mean, you're probably one of the. Yeah, definitely one of the best technical players that are around. And what's really interesting about that is when I compare. I mean, usually you don't compare pros, right? But when you play way faster than other players. And I wonder if this is because you play that many games. Like, you just know that is 100% the right decision here. I just go for it. And it just seems like you can play fast and there's no mistake.
Yeah, no, but that's what, because in the way that I think, I see like all the lines that I can see, and I pick the one that I like more. But sometimes I made like mistakes because I don't make a pause, like a stop before taking the decision, and sometimes I forget something, or I don't have something into account because I'm so. It's like I'm in rush all the time, but I should I should play a bit slower, like, because there's no rush, and you can see the difference when I'm playing against a really good opponent that they took a lot of time, like for example Seth or Paulo or Andre. They take a lot of time to think, and sometimes I give advantage because I don't use the extra time.
I find it quite funny that you didn't mention Nasif in those people.
Well, of course, Nasif is a slower one.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I tend to be really slow as well, but that's not because that's just because of my inexperience, right? I'm not as experienced as a professional player. That's why I'm way slower, and I rather don't do mistakes where I'm like, if I make a mistake by playing fast on stream, obviously, right? You just talk and whatever, and there it doesn't matter. But if I play for myself, like a tournament offline, then I just take my time, like a lot. And fun fact, Crookies met me this way as well.
It's better to be like slower than like playing a rush like I used to do.
So there are multiple aspects in the game, like deck building, sideboarding, technical play, meta picking, also just knowing the exact cards, right? 2-off, 1-offs. And for people who are, I mean, many of those people here, they are quite good, but they are, I mean, Tomasz, top 4, right? The Ninja here is also a really good player. He was like top 4 at the Pro Tour. I mean, you know how it's done, but like many here, they know how to play, but how do you improve? Like, what is the best way to improve once you reach, let's say, a good level? Because that's the hard part, right? How do you get better from there?
Well, it's about like keep playing and play against better people each day. Like, if you want to improve, you need to learn as much as possible. There's many ways to learn. I like the way to like play, like infinite play to learn. But you can like watch coverage, like videos, like articles. You can read. But it's very important to find where is your weakness, like what you need to learn, because sometimes you don't see your weaknesses because some people blame to the lack aspect of the game a lot, in my opinion, and that is not helpful with the improvement itself. Like, you need to know that some games, due to variance, you will lose or win without any decisions made.
No.
Like, you need to be aware of that. It's like a contract that you need to sign. Like, I will not be mad if I drew like 7 lands in a row.
Yeah, it helps the mind state, right? So, like, if you get mad, then next game is probably just worse.
Even the best players in the world say that like it's frustrating. Like, sometimes it's very punishing, the lack aspect of the game. So if you can't like tolerate your frustration, you will not like learn and be. I don't know. I'm very positive always. I'm trying to see how improve all the time. Like not focusing on the things that I do well and trying to learn the things that I don't do well.
Mm.
I think it's pretty important to be humble in the process. To know that the game is it's really really hard and
Mm.
you have a lot of aspects to improve all the time.
I mean, that's great words. Yeah, I mean, you have to kind of accept it, that you cannot just say, "Oh, I was unlucky, opponent drew perfect," and those things also happen to you, right? Like sometimes you play and you go like, "I need that card," and then you draw that card, and you're like, "Well, I'm just a better player, right?" But no, it's just how it is. And I remember, I'm not sure if you still do that. Do you still record your games and go over them and see what you could improve?
No, well, I record some games, but lately I'm not doing the homework.
Yeah, I remember
But
you
yeah,
sent me some videos.
yeah, because I was trying to do that, but it's because I'm kind of lazy.
It
Is
is
the
a lot of
truth.
work, right? It is a lot of work. I
Yeah,
was
I prefer to play new games that rewatch old games
yeah.
because I kind of know when I'm playing well or when I'm playing like really well. You know,
Mm.
I kind of realizing how well I'm playing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's so many people have a different take on how to improve in the game and how to look for it. But I think baseline, what you said, that you have to improve yourself and you look at yourself and where you are bad, right? It's definitely not just in this game. It's a thing in life, right? No matter if you want to improve, you always have to reflect everything on yourself, and I think that's correct. And it's hard
I'm trying
sometimes.
to.
You have to acknowledge you miss that you're bad in something, right? You have to understand, oh, I'm bad at this, but you have to first tell it to yourself.
Yes, and also Magic is so huge. So you can improve like your win rate. Like everyone wants like more win rate, to be honest,
Mm.
like win more games. And like you, for example, if you're not a very good technical play, you can improve your like deck building and try to get advantage on that. Like nowadays, Magic gives you a lot of tools to be a good Magic player, and you can combine your strengths with other people's strengths and try to improve.
Mm.
I see like some people that usually try to find like deck lists and sideboard guides and try to play games. That is okay, but it's more helpful when you build your own
Mm.
sideboards, when you build when you play more games
Mm.
and you realize that stuff for yourself. That also helps you to improve.
Yeah, I mean that's like when I have to reflect on myself. I'm not as good as a technical player than others, but I think I'm good at deck building and reading meta. Right, that's just what I do, and the other part is really hard to improve. I think you just have to keep playing right against good people, and that's the only way. And I mean, you reached like such heights, right? Play of the year thing, and now I mean, I did watch a bit of the league, but before we go there, I want to open up for the first question around here, because we have many people who grind a lot here and play tournaments. So yeah, I open it up for someone who has a question to improvement to like tournament things, and just shoot.
Yes, sure. It's free.
Oh,
Yep.
no, there. I did unmute. All right, good. I just wanted a thought because I remember I first caught on to you playing well when you first brought Arcanist to a meta that was hugely dominated by Sultai. I just want to go through your thought process on how exactly you did. Was it like a team effort that you guys had when you built that sideboard plan? Because it seemed to me like you guys just kept flip-flopping on different things. And I remember watching your games, and it's like, oh, I'm going to sideboard this Hazard. No, I'm not going to sideboard this Hazard. No, I am. No, I'm not. Like I think I remember 3 games, like 2 different Sultai opponents. Like, no, I'm gonna bring this in. No, I'm not.
No, that was because it was so hard to play against Leyland of the Void.
Mm.
Sometimes, if you if you felt that you cannot win against Leyland of the Void, you just ignore it. And but if you feel that you can win, like maybe being on the play, or if you have more cyber, or I don't know, so at that point it was more about like, should I play around Leyland of the Void or not? And playing the Hazard, or I didn't have the Pack Rat in that moment, or because that was the final solution. Pack Rat was the perfect card because it
That was a
was
really good card. And I remember at that tournament I was in the team of Seth, right, and working on the Sultai list. And we tested against Arcanist, but we didn't test against any Pack Rats. Like, that was just not even like... That was the tech. That was the tech there, I guess. Yeah.
It was very good because you didn't fall Lurus, that it was a key card in the deck, but you had protection against like Rest in Peace and Leyland of the Void.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep. Keep going with the questions.
I have a question.
You, hey James.
Hey, what's up, Luis? And Danny.
Yep.
I have a question. What's your approach to deck building in like an open meta? Like, I know we're in like the first week of Strixhaven. Do you have any like specific approaches that you use to build decks in maybe an open meta, or like seeing decks that were already good in the previous set and try to expand on those, or what's your approach on that?
No, I just wait that somebody else do that, and I pick the deck that I like the most and start to play the format with a deck that I like, but that somebody else built. And if it's with a cyber guide, even better.
That's
That's why you sniped my stream.
yeah. I mean, Lewis is that's the thing, right? He's such a good technical player. You know, if someone does the great work, then just take it and be better, right? It's kind of smart.
For example, right now I'm not a good example of how to improve in Magic. That's why I'm good like teaching stuff, but I'm not a good example of what I do to improve, because I feel like I gave a lot of advantage to all the people. When I was in the past, like playing shitty decks or didn't know how to sideboard, because I didn't have enough time to play Magic, because I had a normal work and a life and that. But nowadays that I play like kind of really good, I prefer to spend my time like knowing the metagame with the work other one works.
Nice. Next question.
Oh, sorry, it's really disappointing. Like
I mean, everyone has their strengths, right? Like, it's just it's a normal answer,
mine.
right? It's fine.
I don't think that's funny. I think that's actually like really good to know for people that, you know, pro players that play in these crazy tournaments, right? That are very hard to get into. It's good to know that you think that, you know, in some ways we think alike. In some people, you know, go after a deck that has already been done and they like the deck and they decide to play it. Like even players of the caliber of you and, you know, other players that are in the same caliber think the same way and do the same thing. So it's good. It's still good to know that and valuable, even though it's like I might be disappointed or something, you know.
Yeah, also it's, to me, it's quite much funnier to know the metagame playing games than building decks, because like I can play a deck pretty acceptable without knowing the cards in the moment, so I prefer to do that instead the other thing, because it's funny. It's like, I know that it's not good to improve in my weaknesses, but it's the way that I enjoy it more, and it works in the end.
Also, aren't you just playing less MTG Arena right now? You used to. I remember when I was grinding for number 1, you were always like number 2, number 3, and I always had to fight against you. We played so many times, I was like, not again. I still remember that time. I think you play less, right now?
Yes, I'm playing quite much less. Yes, because I'm living with 2 friends nowadays that plays Magic, and we are like a gaming house, like, because we play Magic all day long, and we play Magic online because it's smarter to play Magic online if you want to transform your time in money. Like there's pretty big tournaments, challenges, even Pro Tour qualifiers. So we prefer to play Magic online, and I just do the missions like on Arena, the quests for
to get the
3
cards,
coins, to try to get the 2Ks from them, and nothing more. And just test. When I test, I test with
Mm.
Argentinians. I use Magic Arena because it's quite much faster.
Yeah, and he's always online there. Like, I think if I would just check now, he's online there. I'm pretty sure it's just. I think Menguchi made a tweet recently. It's like, it's the first time I go online in Arena, and Javi was not online, and he posted. I was like, so accurate.
Here is a beast. He plays like a ton of Magic.
Yeah,
He's
that's
pretty good.
yeah. So yeah, any other questions before we continue?
Yeah, I have a question,
Yep.
which is it's somewhat related to the previous one. The previous league weekend in Standard, you brought Teamer Adventures, which was like a relatively known quantity. It was a large portion of the meta. But in Historic, you brought Cycling. So, what decisions are going through your head where what is a difference in the formats where you want to play a more established archetype in Standard? Like, what about Standard made you want to play the more established archetype, and what about Historic made you want to play something a little more off the path?
Well, because we found a very good brew. Like in Standard, there was no room for a brew. Like besides Ken Yokohiro's one, which was pretty funny. But when he decides to play good decks, he will win even more. But he still tried, but it's not possible in Standard. Like break this like a 1 month Standard when like the best in the world already tried. So in Historic, since it's pretty new and there's a lot of new cards, and the metagame is really far from solved, we found a good deck to have an edge. And in the end, it was okay because it was super bad against auras, but then with this one, the next thing that I will say is my best work in the last years, like for sure. I like convinced Javier to play Aura Cycle again, but with black, with a very very good cyber plan, like using like 12 cards in cyber against auras to fix it and have an okay game. And we had a really good result in Historic thanks to that. But because it was a brew, otherwise we choose to play like a safer deck, like Temur Adventures. Like it was a pretty safe choice.
No, I mean, it's funny to hear that about Kushiro Mori. He also wanted to join today in the call, but he has a medical checkup tomorrow morning, and it's like 3 a.m. for him right now. So he will probably watch the recording. So it's definitely gonna like your words there for sure. So yeah, you and Javier played both the same deck since you tested together. How much prior to this did you start testing?
Well, I think it was from the beginning, like in the very first moment to play test, we did it because we have like tournament practice. We didn't have like free time, so I don't know exactly, but like 2 weeks or so before both events, like the Mythic and the weekly league.
Okay, if there's one more question, or just continue, I would say. Now that the league is over for now, what do you think about the current concept? Like, there's the MPL, the rivals, right? And it's I sometimes always, even though I read it how it works, I have to read it again because I'm never sure. Like, challenger there, and I mean, Tomasz is now also in the challenger. You are, right? Also in the challenger thing.
They are trying to fix it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was just confirming I'm in the gauntlet.
Yeah, it's
Danny.
just, yeah, it's. I try to understand it. So, where are you right now, Luis?
Well, I don't understand either. Like I don't pay attention to that stuff, to be honest, because I just try to win as many matches as I can, and things going to be well. But I think they are trying to fix the system step by step. Like, but it was pretty bad in the beginning for all the people besides the pro, but it was really good for the pro in comparison to the previous one. So remember that when it was like silver, gold, and platinum, the platinum players got 15K per year for being platinum. It was like really low in comparison. And now it's pretty good, but there should be like something else like in the middle. So until they fix that, we will need to wait. And it's pretty complex. Like there's all the information in some place, but it's really complex.
Yeah, that system before of platinum, gold, and that system. Many people. This morning I was also talking with Arne in a German podcast, and he used to be gold pro, and he told me like how much he loved to achieve the next level and to grind there, and then obviously he lost all the points, and like Peter Socherek, I'm not sure. I mean, you know it,
Yes,
you know,
I know
right? Yeah,
very
you
well.
definitely.
Yeah.
He was like super close in the top. I don't know how many players, and then he really got like the cut there. That must be frustrating for many people who just dedicate, right, like so much, and it changes every year. We have something new, right? So I wonder how they're gonna do it now. I think it's nice to have a league, like, or two leagues, right, where you can watch and you can learn the people. But I think they should push way more on like stories between the people and like make this event feel like this rivalry thing. Like you and Seth, that was quite cool whenever you and Seth played because everyone knew, okay, now this is a game, and those kind of things. But if someone from the rivals plays against someone else from rivals, it's like, okay, it's a game. But it's less like the story, and I hope they push that a lot. And some people
I think
can
things
really push
will
it.
go better, to be honest. Like things, in the end, they will fix it. For example, at some point they will fix the number of mythic in each season. Like 1,200 is like so few, I guess, with all the people that nowadays is playing. Like there's a ton of people who wants to make into the 1,200 mythic, and it's harder. So they need to fix that as well. But I have some kind of faith in the company, to be honest.
I mean, Star City game kind of fixed this though. To be honest, like you just have to go 4 wins on day one, and you get the invitation to the qualifier, which is
That's very good.
yeah. Do you play those? I mean, since you play lots of games, tournaments, and or you know time for that.
No, I don't play that because I think the reward in the end is to try to qualify to the Pro Tours.
Yeah.
I think I'm paying for not getting something good for me. I prefer to play like Magic Online challenges. I enjoy that ones because people, for example, I play Standard and sometimes Pioneer, but just because it's really funny to play Pioneer. But Standard people had updated list, they play really well, so it's a good training, and you can like if you win like a challenge sometimes or tournaments, 70 or 80 people tournaments, you can win like $300 or $400, so it's pretty nice.
Oh, I mean, I know. I played Magic Online 9 years ago. I drafted there because it was the only way to do it. But since then, I think I never touched it anymore. I mean, I can see that. I think there are many people who just play Magic Online, and it's kind of like people playing poker, I would say, where people play.
The green.
Yeah.
A lot of people green there.
Yeah, it's quite similar, right, with Magic Online, because Magic is still in many places counted. I mean, most places counted as a, how you call this, as a luck game, you know, like it's a casino game.
It has a big percentage of luck.
Yeah.
But we need to know that before we play. So
Yeah.
we can't complain about that.
Yeah, once the meta is completely stable, then you just go by numbers, and you need to run hot, and there are so many factors that come in, right? And it can be frustrating, but also really rewarding. People who spike in those tournaments, I mean, like pretty much everyone knows them then, and like same with Christoph, and now with Arne, and like they were good players, and they spiked one, and now just everyone knows them, right? It's really incredible. Like
I play against I played against Arn in one in GP in Europe,
Yeah.
and I knew that he was a really good player.
Yeah, he's the way he plays is also. I like to watch him as well. I didn't know him that much. I mean, this morning I had the chance to talk with him for an hour, so that was quite cool. But yeah, so what is your favorite format? What do you think of Historic in general as a format right now? Because it's like this esport only thing, right? Like they try to make this esport only thing going, and where do you think in what direction will this go with this format?
I'm liking Historic right now, to be honest. But my favorite format is limited. I think Cube is my favorite.
Okay. I
But
mean tonight,
yeah,
limited tournaments. I'm ready.
yes, I think is my favorite, but I think I'm better playing constructed,
Okay.
like
Oh.
standard, or extended. I don't know, like modern.
Yeah. I mean you
With as more decisions has the game in question, is better for me.
Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, modern especially is like the lines you can take there is crazy. I played once a modern tournament and someone gave me their deck and I was like, well, how do I do this now, right? It's like even in Pioneer it was. I mean, I had an easy deck to be honest, but it was like it's definitely different. And Historic is the closest to this right now. And now with the new cards that came to Historic, I mean,
Historic will be super fun to watch and to play, of course, with the new cards.
Yeah.
It will change dramatically.
yeah, I mean, like
Different format.
brainstorm
Different speed,
looting,
like-
it's ridiculous.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's too
it's.
strong.
I'm gonna looking forward to it. I mean, I spent like 20 hours just building decks. Yes, like the last 2 days, just build and build and build and build, and there are definitely some bangers there. So, you can check it. I mean, I see you in my stream sometimes, and also back in the days, I always appreciated when you came by. I just wish we had a deck like Reclamation again.
Yes.
Those
No.
So, there's no.
definitely would love that. What is your favorite card in Magic? Do you have any card where you say that's my card?
Well, I think it will always be the Rebellion because it was the start from my very first deck that I end up doing top 32 in the Grand Prix Buenos Aires. There's a link. I can share with you the link to the
Yeah, definitely share it. I will
like it's like
post
a
it.
joke. At that point I only have my own cards and I didn't have like money at all, and I had some copies of good cards, and I had, for example, 3 copies of a lot of cards because I didn't know what to put. And the deck was really tricky. I had only in that time the damage went to the stack.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know
I
if
remember
you know-
that. Yeah,
You know what's that? Yes.
yeah,
You can explain it.
yeah. I remember that time when damage was on the stack, and then you can, in response, do something. I totally forgot. Like I remember when I played Arena the first time, and I was just playing again, and this was not there anymore. I was so confused in the beginning. Like, why can I not do anything here? I should do something here. And then it took me a while to figure it out again.
Okay, this is my very first deck. I put the link on the MTG General channel.
Yeah. Okay, guys. That's it's like you go with what you have, huh?
No, it was I played that deck like during I don't know, maybe more than a year or like 2 years.
Oh wow.
Because standard at that time had Fairies and Rebelliarch, and I had a ton of cyber against Fairies because otherwise I couldn't win. They had like Cryptic Command and all the good Fairies, and it was pretty hard.
Oh, this deck's
But-
beautiful.
This deck is super funny to play as well.
It's a
I have,
flash
like,
deck, right? It's
Mana Dorks and Wrath of God,
Yeah.
some Garuks.
yeah, and some
61
flash
cards.
cards.
61 cards because I didn't matter at that time.
I mean,
Anything.
61 cards is a thing again. I mean, look at Mori Kushiro. He played 61 cards again.
Yes.
Like it's he was here like 2 weeks ago and talked about it. It's like numbers wise, it doesn't make that much of a difference. I mean, it's interesting. It's really interesting to see 61 cards. But yeah, it looks really cool. Like, and I know some of the cards. I know the Mystic Snake. I do remember that card, and Birds, of of course, and rough. It's cool to see those cards. And what do you think, will there ever be like Pioneer and those formats also be in Arena? I hope so.
Well, I have faith in that, like, because they will add cards, and in the end, it will be easier for both worlds to have the same formats, because
Yeah.
there's no point of having different formats on purpose. Like maybe historic will be changing, and I don't know. They have all the tools to apply cards and to put Pioneer or even Legacy or whatever. Like,
Yeah, it's a slow thing. They published the mobile client. I didn't test it out
yeah,
yet.
that's
Still,
pretty nice.
did you
Yes,
test
I
it?
played it. Yeah, it's quite much better than I expected.
Yeah.
It's pretty smooth to play. I
Yeah.
like it.
Oh, nice. I should definitely test it out then, huh? I mean, so do you ever think you will go back to streaming? Because when I started, you streamed a lot, and I was hanging there, and it's just so much
Well,
time, right?
Yeah, I have fun, but here in this side of the world, people doesn't subscribe. Like even they support you a lot and they like you and they watch you, people doesn't have like $5 each month to subscribe, and it doesn't worth it in the end. You stream, you put a lot of effort and hours, and in the end, also Twitch take like 70% of your money, so you get
Yeah.
robbed. So
You bet,
it doesn't worth it in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I think Marty is like the biggest Argentinian streamer, right? And he somehow made it work.
Yes, and he puts a ton of effort, and he can live from that, but without any luxuries, like it's,
Yeah. I understand. Yeah, I mean, for me here in Switzerland, I mean, you can imagine it's also not the easiest. Oh, sorry, the easiest to live with streaming alone, right? You need all the things. And
yeah, you have other problems. You have people can subscribe and pay, but your living cost is like 5 times of my living cost.
yeah, it's streaming is not that easy. I think YouTube is definitely the way to go, right? And, yeah, and
It's
also,
pretty hard.
I mean, yeah, I should not ask, but I mean, if you're a professional Magic player, right, you also have the contracts, and there's certain things you can do and cannot do, and that's also one of the things.
Magic, if they pay me in the same way that they pay the first year of MPL, like they pay a contract to stream, I will do that because I enjoy stream. I can play and interact with the people, so and I enjoy that. But if I have a good reward, like no,
it's time.
It doesn't have any sense. Yeah,
It is
some
always
people
time.
think that the stream is like playing, but with the camera up. It's quite much different. You get tired about streaming. You need to you kind of need to interact with the people, while sometimes you just want to play and don't interact with anyone. Like
and I think many here they started like streaming after me, or maybe some Sony started a bit earlier. It is not that easy, guys. Yeah, you started earlier. It's not that easy, right? Like we just talked with Tomasz before about it, and he did top 4, right, in the big Mythic Invitational tournament, and then it's like, yeah, I'm gonna stream now, but it is not easy to do that every day, right?
It's not. Takes a bit toll, and yeah, I mean, you have to have some consistency and something to bring each day. And there's sort of I think the hardest thing is like there's so many good streamers right now, so you're competing with everybody. Like you're competing with Crokies, you're competing with LSV, and you have to give out something that makes you better to watch than LSV or Crokies or so many more people. So
that's correct. Yeah, it is not easy. I mean, there are more and more streamers, right, and it gets kind of like bigger and bigger, and it's never hard to stand out. And I was kind of lucky, but because of people who supported me in the beginning, there's just sometimes you have to be lucky, like in Magic, right? That belongs to Magic. That's just
sometimes you need to top deck.
So then you need to top deck the Crookie's friendship or something. No joke, but I mean, it's just sometimes you just have to be lucky, right? And I did enjoy your streams a lot, and your Clover and all the stuff you played back then, and miss playing against you. Those games were always cool.
Oh yes.
Yeah. It's definitely some good games. So any other questions?
Playing against Elise on ladder is like the scariest thing ever.
We
It's a
played
go
it
up against you. I'm just like,
several
shit.
times. I remember.
I can't play fast and loose.
But you know, Danny, hard work and luck always come together. So
Kinda. Yeah.
it's not only you need to be lucky; it's definitely also hard work. If you put in all the work, luck is typically coming by.
Yeah, I agree. I think they go hand in hand somehow, right? And you kind of force your luck, right? If you work hard, you kind of force your luck,
Exactly.
which is basically
Exactly.
how the world works, right?
That's what I
At
think,
some
yeah.
point, you will have good luck, and if you
Yeah.
played your best always and you take the best decisions always, at some point you will have all
Yeah.
things in your favor.
Yeah,
and you
that's
will win.
sometimes you just need that one removal spell and you draw it, right? It's just how it works. Any other questions here?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want to go first, obviously?
No, you can go. Go for it.
Oh, thank you. I actually have two. I don't know if I'm allowed to.
Just
If
ask.
that's all right. Just ask. Okay. So my first question: do you think, in terms of as a tool of improvement, that tournaments are irreplaceable, or is just testing against like very competent players a good substitute? Because from my personal life, I don't play particularly many tournaments. Like the online space doesn't really appeal to me. Like just going to a GP did, but I'm best friends with Chris Kavartek, so it's like I clearly have a good player that I can test with, but I don't know if that's a good replacement for playing in tournaments.
Yeah, no, for sure, it's a very good replacement. It's even better sometimes. I have even an example. You know, Tony Ramis, which is a
Yeah.
Javier Talay friend.
Yep.
He's like a punching ball. He's the sparring.
I played against him
But-
many times too.
Yeah, Tony is a super strong player. He's very, very, very good. And Talay have him like super high in his reputation. And they play together all the time and both level up together. So if you are best friend of Chris, and I tested with Chris several
Yeah.
times.
He talks about you a lot.
Yeah. Oh, he's
Only
very
good
kind.
things. Only good things. Don't worry.
No, he's very kind. I know. In your position, if you have like some free time, try to ask him which matchup he wants to test and be his sparring. That will
Oh,
help
yeah.
you a lot.
He already does that to me. Like when testing for Worlds, he's like, "All right, Bob, you're gonna learn rec for the next 2 months. Have fun."
Yeah, yes, that's pretty nice. I think it's a good replace.
Okay. And my second question. So, obviously, again, from the position that I'm in, it's very easy to learn from an extremely good player. Like Chris, you have Javier. A lot of people have somebody they know who's really good, and that's very easy to learn from them. But a common trend that I've seen with a lot of excellent players is that they all talk about how they actually were able to bridge the gap, the metaphorical gap of just being great into really, really good once they were able to start learning from players who were worse than them in almost every single capacity. I wonder, do you have any experience with that? Because I'm like still trying to wrap my head around how can I learn from somebody who just doesn't know the game as well as I do.
Well, I always I always look at when I used to play tournaments, in the past, real tournaments when you sit in the table and that. I always have enough time to watch my both sides games, and try to find the more interesting one and try to find the lines, and then I put my opponent, no, it was my opponent, put the people on my right or my left in which level of game, because I saw some plays, and if they took good lines, I knew that they will win, and if I look and they are losing, it's because they misplay or play less.
Mm-hmm.
And I always try to see how my opponents can beat me. So even if you play against weaker opponents, you can learn, you can use your extra time, because if you play better, you will have more time to try to find the lines in which they can beat you, and I don't know, using your time. I think there's learning in every single game. Even when you lose or when you win, you have something to learn. It's about like having the willing, like wanting to do that. But I think it's maybe harder to learn from weaker people, but I think there's some lessons in the same as Danny said, in the same way as the life. When you met someone, people have always something to teach you, even if they are like quite much less talented than you or they play worse. They have something to teach you.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Robbie?
I came in late, so sorry if you already talked about this, but I was just curious. I was curious about your specific favorite cards from the new Mystical Archive, or if not your favorites, maybe which ones you think are the most likely to make an impact on the arena format.
Well, to be honest, I confess to Danny that I didn't see the spoilers. I'm not a spoiler person. I don't like to learn new cards reading it. I want just play it. So sorry, but I don't have an opinion or an answer for you.
All right, no problem, no problem.
Any other question right now? Feel free to ask anything. Almost anything. Okay.
I just had a thought. Is there any deck or archetype you're really looking forward to testing out with the new set, Strixhaven, that's now out today, really, on Arena?
Are you talking about standard or historic?
Yes. Either or.
No, to be honest, I didn't play since few days because I was playing like a ton before the Mythic and the Weekly League, and I spent these few days to do like personal stuff. So today it was my first impression of the deck. Like I open a draft and I start to know the cards from the draft. I don't even see all the mythics and that. I know that some friends of mine want to break Pioneer because he's qualified to the showcase this weekend, the big tournament. So he's trying to do some really nasty stuff with one card that you discard and put a treasure, and then potential Yearhood, the 8-mana one. So,
oh, yeah.
I know just a few cards, not many.
All right.
Sorry. Again, another disappointing.
No, they're fine. That's perfectly fair.
I mean, the set is so hard to evaluate, right? Because Eldraine is still in standard. But it's just... I still think there are many cool cards, and this set probably will have more impact once Eldraine is out, but...
Yeah, I feel the same, because Eldraine was too powerful that there was no way to impact in standard pretty much without releasing very, very good cards. Because there's no red deck that will not play Bone Crusher, for example. And they cannot replace a Bone Crusher, because if we put something better, we will have the same problem over and over. So
and Lawstruck Beast is also a decent card, right?
3-mana, 5/5, draw a card. Pretty nice.
Pretty good, yeah. Pretty good.
Very nice, bro.
Yeah, yeah, it's so true. Like, there's one card I really like, and I wonder, like, how do you think? It's a Simic card. It's 1 blue and 1 green. Yeah, it's just, you can choose one. You can counter a non-creature spell, and they have to pay 3 mana. Or you can choose to fight a creature of yours against another creature. It's in Simic, you basically have a removal and a counter in one card. And I that's like the card I was looking for. I was reading this card, I was like, yeah, I want this one.
That's a pretty good card. I like the flexible cards, like Ethergast and that kind of cards that can play from the hand, like when you are ahead, or like can save you when you are behind. I like. I'm pretty happy with the new developers, like the people who is working in doing the cards. I think they are doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, and Oliver Tew is now in design, right? And since he's there, it's just absolute gas. I just wonder how much impact he has. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a good friend with him. Yeah. We even tested together for the mocks that he played. I helped him because I am a big friend with Christian Calcano, and they are friends, and we hang out together a few times. So he told me that he's really happy and enjoying all the thing in Wizards.
Oh, that's nice to hear. I mean, I really think it feels really nice. As Call Time, I did really enjoy. Just power level wise, it's just not unfair, but it's It's just how it should be. And with this set, I have the same feeling. I'm really happy right now that we don't have the Eldraine 2.0. Even though Eldraine was my favorite set, it's just how it is. But
Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah.
It was a really good set.
Yeah.
A bit overpowered,
no,
but a very good set.
yeah. Any other questions right now?
I have a question.
You have to talk a bit louder.
Can you hear me better now?
I mean, I
Can you hear
put
me?
the volume up. Just,
Can you hear me better now?
I guess it's okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'll talk louder. Okay, Luis, I know I can pretty sure you remember the first tournament you ever did really well at that meant a lot to you. Did you just like spike that tournament and you didn't cut it close earlier than that, or was it like a progression where you just were cutting it close a bunch of times in a row and then finally hit it?
Well, I think it was. They were like two tournaments. Like at some point, I went to a Grand Prix in Chile, and it went really bad. But I played the Super Sunday Series qualifier the following day. It was a tournament. Like during 4 years, there was a tournament. All the day 2 of the GPs, a qualifier, and then all the people went to Seattle to meet the offices of Wizards. It was a pretty fun tournament, and I qualified to that tournament, and I traveled to Seattle, and I won the whole tournament. It was the Super Sunday Series in 2014, and I felt that it was like a reward because it was a tournament full of tricky formats. There was a draft, then a kind of a sealed draft that they give to you 3 packs, and you open it, and then you draft over that, and then it was a standard, and I did pretty well, and I won the tournament, and I won another like the qualifier for the following one. So that was the very first time when I earned big money. At that time, it was like $6,000. It was like huge impact money in my life. And the following one, it was when I finally qualified for the Pro Tour again, because I qualified for a Worlds in 2011 because I had a really good result in the nationals in that time. But between 2011 and 2015, I didn't spend many time on Magic during my life because I lived far from the tournaments, and I didn't have any teammates or people to play in my hometown. So I just played some random PTQs without even testing. And during some years, 2 or 3 years, I used to work. I was like a croupier in a poker table. That it was the Friday night, and the tournaments were the Saturday morning. So I played the tournaments without sleep, and in the end, in the top 8, I always lose, like in the finals, semifinals, where the better players like outplay me probably because I was without sleep. But in the end, when I qualified to my first Pro Tour in Madrid, I did top 8. So it was kind of like all the rewarded because trying, all in the same tournament. And after that Pro Tour, I didn't even drop from the Pro Circuit. It was I had a lot of troubles to qualify for my first Pro Tour, but when I played my first Pro Tour, I play all the important tournaments from that go on.
Yeah, I've experienced playing like very competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, and it was like the same thing for me. And I was wondering if it was the same thing for you. That I was just trying for it seemed like forever, just to break that threshold into like finally making top 8 in a tournament or whatever. But like as soon as I made my first top 8, I got 3rd place. But then I never stopped topping tournaments after that. It was like at that point I like crossed a line that like, okay, I was at this level now. And then I just started doing really well at like almost everything else that I played in.
Yeah, that is true. When you start feeling that you are in certain level, you even play better because as you start feeling even safe, like I'm more confident, and that helps you a lot. Like that are kind of feelings that all in the sports and in life in general, they are better. So. I can see that. That happens to me for sure.
I mean, it's interesting. Many people, I think, once they get into Pro Tours, or like nowadays it's a Mythic Invitational, you get the chance to play the next one again, and if you manage to stick in it, I mean, that's where you actually improve the most, I think, because if you manage to be in an environment that's first you have the pressure of a tournament, you have the opponents, you have the preparation every time, that's where I think you shine, and that's where you get a really good player. For us challengers, right? I mean, I didn't put that much work into professional play anymore. After just, it's so hard to get in, right? It's quite tricky to get in, and it's not that rewarding anymore. It's just content creation is probably more rewarding than being a professional player, right? It's just let's put it like this.
Just take a look on LSV. He do both.
Yeah, I mean he's just so big, right? He's like the name, right? But there are people who I would say they are actually like Crookies is a really good player, right?
Yeah, he plays really well.
Yeah, he knows like I can just do what I do, right? I don't have to be, and I think for many it goes that way in the Twitch space or like in that type of space. But I also tend to be more I like to be competitive. I like to, and when you lose that drive, it's hard to play well. Once you need that in you that you want to do well, and then you do kind of well. It's a mindset, right? It's so much about mindset in sports or in Magic or another thing. It's the same with hard work gives you luck at one point. There are many things that are actually not the game itself, right? But it's affected.
Of course, and everyone knows that your own emotional status affects your games like a lot.
Yeah.
When you are angry or you are sad or you are like frustrated.
Yeah, if you play tilted, it's really bad. Like it's...
Well, I think one of my strengths on the game, and probably one of the more valuable ones, is that I don't tilt at all. I don't tilt anymore. Like I used to tilt like a lot of years ago, and I don't tilt anymore. And that under pressure I play even better sometimes. Like it's the opposite. Sometimes when there's a lot of line and like a lot of like people watching and that, I feel like the pressure that it helps me.
That's interesting.
Because
Yeah,
I feel that it doesn't affect me, and if it doesn't affect me, I use it in my favor. So put all the pressure in my opponent.
I used to be someone who never tilts as well. Like I remember when I started streaming and playing, and just I never tilted. I just I lose. But over time, I think it gets more tilting when you stream and you cannot play perfectly the way you want. I mean, maybe people can do that, but it's just really hard. And then
Twitch chat doesn't help.
Yeah, right. And then it tilts you a bit inside, but you cannot really. I think streaming Magic and not tilt is really hard. That's like, it's a tricky thing.
Because like you also want to put up a show for the viewers, right? And it's like not only you're losing for yourself, but also for the viewers, kind of. So
yeah, you feel like exactly right. Yeah, exactly. Should I cut this out, or is it fine if I let it in?
No.
I don't mind.
An internal joke.
Yeah.
Sometimes I play like something important, and I say, "Hey, be aware." Like at least they are both my roommates. Like one in the left playing arena, playing draft as well, and the other one, I don't know what is he doing. Tomates maybe.
Oh, it's quite nice to live like in a gaming room, like
yes,
gaming.
I'm living the dream right now. Since 1 year ago, I moved to this house with 2 friends, and I'm really happy. It's very good to have living with people who plays Magic. It's like you breathe Magic like all the time. It's pretty nice. I love it.
Yeah, I remember you told me that you also lived at Marty's place once, right?
Yes, it was like he saved me, because in my hometown in Lujan, like it's like 1 hour from right here in the capital right now, and I had really bad internet, and I need to finish my contract with Wizards. It was like 400 hours in the whole year in 2019, and it was like September or October, and I had only 150. I had like 250 hours to complete in the 1/4 of the year, and I remember I end up our number 400 in December 31, like in the afternoon.
Mm.
So it was like
They're just
the
close
last
close stream deinstall.
in Matty's place, in
Yeah.
Matty's house.
Mm.
So big thanks to him, and he also started streaming that moment, so it was like a mutual benefit. Like,
Yeah.
it was pretty
Yeah.
good. In the beginning, I was in his stream pretty much all days. It was
Yeah.
really fun.
Well, it's definitely a really cool experience. Before we wrap this up, are there any more questions? Then just shoot it in the end.
I have one more question, but I've also asked a couple, so if somebody else who hasn't asked one wants to ask one, they can
I mean, just go with it.
let them.
Yo,
Okay.
Hey,
what's going on, bro? How you been?
we are doing the thing, and it's over right now. So, if you also have a question to Luis, just ask it right now. It's like
Oh,
I
no,
recorded
so-
it, so
okay, yeah, I'll play it back. What up, Luis? How you doing, man? How's it going?
I'm fine, thanks. I'm fine.
Super late to the party, damn.
it's not the smartest day to do it on a new set, but hey, we got people here.
So my question is, you said like Magic House, and that sort of sparked my interest for like esports. So if you look at other very large esports, they'll have like houses for teams. So something like, and I know like Overwatch League is very different from Magic, but they have houses for the teams. So like the
Well, they had like
Philadelphia
the
team.
check house. They had like the check house. I
In
mean,
Magic,
don't they have houses?
Yeah, but it's not very common, right? Like the
It's
MPL
still pretty
player,
new in our scene.
yeah, like the MPL players. Like I think there's only two who have teams, and it's like Seth on Envy and Paulo is on Tempo Storm. And-
Yes.
mean-
Numat's on TSM.
TSM, yeah.
No, what's on TSM? Okay, but just like
Does
that's
CFB
3
not
out of
count?
7. Like, do you think that there's something preventing other orgs from jumping on ship, or do you think that
Yes to the first one. There's something like that. Magic is so complex, and like people without knowing how to play the game doesn't enjoy the game. So there's no audience, so there's no money, so there's no like companies. Like Paulo and Seth because they have like ton of followers, or LSB if he wasn't the owner of something, he will have as well because he moves like a ton of people. But the rest of the pro players doesn't move big quantity of people, so I think there's no interest in companies because of that. At least right now, since Arenas now is in the mobile phone and that, maybe we can see a big grow up in the following 5 years, and maybe there's teams everywhere and that. But I think there's not big money in Magic events right now, so.
Well, I think that's a good point, and there will be a huge surprise in the next 2 weeks, and you're all going to read about it. It will fit this question specifically, but I cannot talk more about it. It's not about me, but I know something huge is going to happen, and it's going to be maybe more like that will going to happen. It's probably end of the month, and then we will know it. But I think in Magic it's like smaller teams, right? Let's say F2K. I don't think Tempo Storm is that big of a team. They're kind of comparable.
You got
Yeah,
my or Carnage Gaming. We're very small. We're tiny in comparison to everyone else.
Yeah, like it's definitely harder to find like a huge team, right? There used to be Magic player in different teams, and I mean TSM is huge, right? We have Kenji there, and I mean that's like an Envy, right? The ones you mentioned, but I'm pretty sure once Magic becomes even bigger now, maybe with mobile and then the Netflix series, and like it gets more mainstream, then that's the point where some organization will pick up players, and some are doing right now, but this is all behind the scenes, and you will see that later. It's gonna happen this and next month. I'm pretty sure there will be some news. It's going to be really interesting. It's going to be an interesting thing.
Yeah,
to see.
there definitely needs to be. I mean, I agree with Luis. There just needs to be more money and for the tournament play. because like doesn't like 98% of like Magic or 99.9 work full time. You know what I mean? It's not really, it's not, unless you're on the MPL, you can't really make a living playing Magic. It's not possible. You know.
Yeah.
You could they need a they just need to. I mean, I've been playing Magic for a long ass time, since like '96. I mean, it's crazy how it's evolved, but yeah, there just needs to be more money in it for sure.
We're still in
I
our
hope they
infancy.
do. Yeah.
I mean, remember, guys, when there was like this Magic Invitational and there was a million prize pool and Mangu just went there and just, but bam, took all the money right at home, and that's like, I was like, wow, this is gonna be amazing for Magic. Like, I saw like this
And then what's
million,
fun?
and then COVID happened, right, and everything just
Yeah,
went
but they're
down.
making more. I feel like they're making more money than ever. And
Yeah.
I still don't understand why they killed the prize pool so much. Like, it should be more money or the same. Like, they're making, you know what I mean? They don't have to pay for travel. They're not paying for anything.
I really hope
It's
it comes
ridiculous.
back. I have a good feeling it will come back. I have a good
Like, this
feeling.
begs
about
like
it.
a whole can of worms also.
Yeah.
There's the whole argument there's not a lot of money with viewership, but there's like so many different avenues with this. I've had this conversation plenty of times with my community of why orgs don't do this, and it's not just like money wise, it's like marketing wise and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Like, there's so many different avenues to this question.
Yeah, I mean, marketing-wise, as you all maybe just, everyone who's on Twitter and reads all the things that's going on, CGB made a huge video about it. They put money now in other content creators outside from Magic with like 20,000 views, and I think just today will be a super famous chess streamer will do something with someone, and there will be those kind of things now, and maybe that pushes it. I hope it pushes it personally. I mean, we all want to grow, right, as a Magic community and get better organized play again and those things. So, yeah. Any other questions right now?
Yeah, over under 2 weeks, Brainstorm is going to be banned in Historic.
Yeah, that's some decks. But yeah.
That
I hope that after Dalai broke Historic, both of us all splits with the card, I can see that.
Yeah, there's what today I'm gonna actually play Simic Lotus combo with the Storm card. I mean that can just be so broken. You cannot interact.
With Elvish Reclaimer.
Yeah, with all the tap land, and then you just storm and play your deck again, and then it's just over, right? Because there's no real counterplay. So I'm definitely gonna play that. That's gonna be super fun.
Insight Esports. I don't know if anybody brought this up. Today, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they have 1Ks and then a 5K on Sunday. So just
yeah, I'm in there
together,
5K.
Yeah, it's definitely try some way to make a little bit of money if anybody's interested. I have nothing to do.
I mean,
with
yeah,
it,
so Zomni, you won it just recently, right?
Yep, I won the standard 5K 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
On the 3rd.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dude. What did you play?
Mardu Fury.
Oh, right. I saw that. Very cool. Very cool.
But
Yeah, and then everyone in the MPL and Rivals is too much of a coward to submit it for the Rivals League.
I mean, yeah. So, any other questions to Lewis right now?
I got all mine out of the way. Anyone else want to take the stage?
I mean, I don't want to hold up you too long. It's been now definitely an hour, and I'm really thankful to have you here. I'm just super happy always to talk with you.
I got one more. I got one more
just
question.
go ahead.
I'm sorry, my bad, Luis. Real quick. I don't know if somebody asked this already, but how many hours a week do you play test versus you play on ladder, or do you play on ladder at all? I mean, how is it kind of broken down?
Right now, when I need to play against random opponents, I decide to play Magic Online instead of the ladder because I can get money and good testing. When I need to specific testing against like Javier or Sebastian, I play on Arena because it's faster and smooth. But I think it's a better testing and a better use of the time to play on Magic Online, unless you are unless you need to learn decks and that stuff, and it's better to play for free in Arena. If you are willing to win, it's better to play Magic Online. If you are losing, it's better to play in Arena. For each reason, if you are learning or if you are trying all decks, whatever. But that's why I'm not in the ladder business anymore.
Yeah, sadly, but yeah. Thanks again. This is awesome. I mean, every time you feel you want to jump into those calls here, we have some good Magic brains here, as you can see. Feel free to to drop in.
Okay. Thank you, Danny, and thanks everyone for stopping by.
Yeah.
That's good.
So yeah, thanks everyone for
always.
joining. I know it's like a day with Strixhaven coming out, and yeah, I will stream a bit, some new decks, and then I will do the limited thing where Luis is also playing in it. I want to win it again. I want to be the first one who wins this twice.
Okay.
So
Good luck and see you at the night.
yeah,
Bye.
see you
Bye,
tonight.
people.
But it was, you guys, thanks for having you here. Hopefully you enjoyed it.
That was a lot of fun.
It was great.
Thank you, Danny.